If your family saw your significant other as a terrorist, who will you stand by? Well, that's the reality for Ashley and Mohamed. Let's dive into Forbidden Love, the new show on Discovery. As always, before we keep going, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's cover this couple. Now, these are Ashley's words, but she says that she comes from a town where, white is white. They are incredibly Catholic.
And people from different cultures and religions just don't mix.
It is expected that all the girls from Jefferson are going to marry a Christian man, have children with him, and never move from the city. So you guys can only expect the shock that her family had when she married a Muslim. Mohamed is from Rochester, New York, and they met each other in an online app, talked to one another for 2.5 months, and then she chose to go visit him in New York.
Even though I come from a Catholic family and he's a strict Muslim, it still felt like we knew that we had found our soulmate.
Right after she went over there to visit him for a whole week, she came back home, quit her job, went back to Rochester.
And after only a week of knowing each other in person, I moved in with Mohamed.
What?
She knew this was going to be the man she was gonna marry. So she did, a day later. But these two have the tendency of moving fast for everything.
Less than a year later, we had our beautiful daughter, Rosie.
Of course, her family was shocked because how could she? She's Christian. She's a very opinionated woman, and you're marrying a Muslim where, she's not really gonna have an opinion.
She's American, she's raised Christian, and she was raised to be a very strong, opinionated woman who's independent.
These are things that we are going to see even on this episode. So yeah, Ashley is sitting around with her family because she's actually in Jefferson right now. She's gonna go back to Rochester in a couple days. And while she's sitting there, her family is talking to her about how, rushed this decision was and how rushed everything is, and how they were concerned about her because according to her mom, she sees on the news that Muslim man kill Muslim woman because they're not wearing their hijabs, because they don't align by the rules. And here's the thing. There is extreme Muslims and there is Muslims, okay? I think every religion has their horrible people and every religion has their good people. And I personally, from what I've seen in this episode, don't think that Mohamed is a horrible Muslim, and I don't think that he would kill Ashley because she doesn't follow his rules. I do think they're gonna have a lot of clashes because she's a very opinionated woman and Mohamed probably wants her to do what he says. And we also have to be careful what we watch on TV and what we believe, because at times media likes to exaggerate things. We consume all of this footage and just think of the most extreme things. That is exactly what's happening with her mom, and it's just kind of sad to watch.
Remember that one time that no one could get a hold of you?
And she's like, yeah, and then you call the police. And she's like, well, because we couldn't get in touch with you. According to Ashley, she says that because of all the backlash that she was getting from her parents and from her family members, she just decided not to answer any calls or reply to any messages, which is the worst thing that you could do. You could have at least told your family that you were safe and that, everything was fine, because they were worried about you. And the problem with this too is that when her sister called the police, she told the police,
They literally said, your sister said that you were up here visiting, but we see your name on the doors.
That's not the only bad thing with Jennifer, because Jennifer has also called Mohamed a terrorist.
Stop it. Get some help.
I totally believe that Jennifer called him a terrorist on purpose because she knew that was gonna hurt his feelings. She might not have done it to his face, but she still told her sister. And her sister, of course, told Mohamed.
Mohamed has refused to speak to my sister since then.
And he also does not visit her family. And that is why Ashley is there by herself, because Mohamed does not want to go visit. Now, after Ashley says this, I personally think that it's not only her family, the one that's putting a lot of barriers in the situation, it's also Mohamed.
I'm loyal to my husband, or I'm loyal to my family.
I understand him creating a barrier between Jennifer and him because she said something horrendous, but you have to understand that her family is going to have concerns because you guys are not from the same religion. And yes, we have to be accepting of it. And yes, we have to understand that, there's different religions out there, but not everyone is as open as some people are. I'm incredibly open. I welcome all religions. I genuinely don't care if you're a Christian or you're a Catholic or you're a Muslim, but there's people out there that do care. If my son were to come to me in the future and tells me that he married a Muslim woman, I'm not gonna lose my mind. I'm not even religious myself. So that's what he has to understand.
My name is Mohamed. I am 30 years old. I was born and grew up in Saudi Arabia. Now I live in United States, New York, Rochester.
They opened up a little grocery store in Rochester, New York, and now they work together. Mohamed also shares that he is extremely religious when it comes to him being Muslim, when it comes to him following the Islam religion. He follows it to the T. Father was extremely religious too. He even had multiple wives. And he says that he's open to the idea of having multiple wives if he's rich and he can afford every single one of them, which at least he's thinking. And that's good, I guess. I don't know.
She's smart, attractive, amazing woman. And I fall in love with her.
He also shares that at the beginning of his relationship with Ashley, he was extremely hesitant to share with his family in Saudi Arabia that he was going to marry her, so he kept her a secret. Now, I wonder how his family feels about Ashley and if they accept her. I mean, they're married and they have children, so you will hope so, but we don't know. And his brother goes, you're very important for the business. You're very important to keep up the books. You know what the problem is? Your wife, Ashley.
تدري وين المشكلة؟ زوجتك Ashley.
And I'm already sensing that you are incredibly disrespectful. And I know that if you ever see this, you might look at me and go, I don't care about your opinion, but I also don't care about your opinion. It is so rude that you would say stuff like that. Like, that is your brother's wife, and the least that you could do is respect her. And then Mohamed tells us that
One time, my brother locked Ashley out of the house.
because he didn't agree with what she was wearing. And that's when Ashley decided that she was going to break his PlayStation.
His TV, she threw all his stuff outside.
Now, I don't think that was necessary. That was a little bit too much. But at the same time, why are you locking her out? It's none of your business. And Mohamed asked him, can you please forgive her for me, for my daughter? And he goes,
الغرض أنا مش عشان أشلي عشانك أنت وروز.
And then on his confessional, he says,
He chose a wrong wife. Even if she get Muslim, she's crazy.
so there's no way that she's going to be able to ever please him. But good thing that we're not here to please Abu. We are here to please her husband. Well, Ashley's here to please Mahmoud. Mahmoud also shares that
When we get married, Ashley promised me to be a Muslim and live a Muslim life.
and that it's been 3 years and she hasn't done it. But then when we cut to Ashley, Ashley says that she told him that she was open to converting now that she promised him. So we do have different stories, and I would love to see how this is gonna play out throughout the season, because Ashley says one thing, Mohamed says another thing, and then we have Abul there just throwing his face where no one's asking him to. So
It's our anniversary today. I'm looking forward to going out with him alone. We hardly ever have any time alone, so it'll be nice.
And she's also telling us that she is going to wear an abaya today because she has a purpose in mind. And that purpose is to convince Mohamed to visit her family. It's a genuine action, but it loses its value based on what she wants out of it.
When we got married, I told Mohamed that I was open to converting and living a Muslim lifestyle.
I still think it's beautiful that she's doing that. I'm not saying it isn't, but yeah, that's what I believe. And then she says this.
Maybe people view me as playing dress up and trying to fit into a culture that I'm not a part of.
I don't agree with that, okay? Because it's not like you're trying to appropriate a religion. You are adjusting because you have decided that this is what you want to do. That because you want to be with this man that you love, you are willing to become Muslim. She's off to her date now with her husband, Mohamed. They're having a little picnic. And the moment that Mohamed sees Ashley,
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Are you crying?
Yeah.
Why?
he was so excited, so happy to see her wearing that. He even had tears in his eyes because of how emotional it made him. I think it's extremely beautiful that he understands the amount of effort it took Ashley to dress the way he wanted to, and he appreciates it. He cares about it, and it's beautiful to see that he really does take that into consideration, that she's making an effort to understand his culture, understand his religion, and be part of who he is.
I figured he would be like, oh my God, you look so beautiful, but crying?
They sit down and Ashley's like, I actually think it's a great time to bring up the fact that, you know, my sister's birthday is coming up. And he's like, what sister? Jennifer.
Happy birthday, Jennifer.
And she's like, well, the thing is that I would love for us to go visit her. And he tells her, well, yeah, go ahead. You can go and visit them. And she's like, no. All of us, Mohamed. Mohamed says that he promised Allah that he was not going to be in contact with Jennifer. To all my Muslim people out there, what happens if you break your promise to Allah? Because if he does go to meet Jennifer, then he will be breaking his promise of never seeing her. So how does that work? So he does not want to go see her family one bit, like at all. And she's just like, but you know, I feel like it's time for us to amend our relationship with our family members, and I think it's the perfect time to do so.
A person who's like didn't like me, you shouldn't like them.
I don't necessarily agree with that, especially because it's her family. Like, you can't tell her that she needs to hate her family because you don't like them. Because as we know, your brother also doesn't like her, and Ashley doesn't like your brother. So does that mean that because, you know, Ashley doesn't like your brother, you also need to dislike your brother? We have to be equal here.
And your brother had said a lot of things about me.
Listen to me. Like, do not bring my brother right now.
And she's like, well, we do have a strained relationship. Like, I'm bringing him up because of what's happening right now. And then in her confessional, she says that
from the very beginning of my marriage, Abdul and I have been clashing.
His brother has said things like, you need to divorce her. He hates the fact that she's not Muslim. He hates the fact that she speaks her mind.
And Abdul kept egging him on, telling him that I was a bad Muslim. Finally, I got so mad that I smashed his precious little PlayStation.
And that behavior is unacceptable. Like, I don't think that she should have ever done that. But at the same time, it is not your job to meddle into your brother's marriage. You need to stay out of it. And you, Mohamed, also need to set boundaries to keep your brother out of that situation. If you want Ashley's family to accept you and to care and to not get involved in you guys' relationship, then you also need to do the same thing with your brother. Ashley, to end this conversation, just ask him, you know, I'm asking you to please just come visit my family. We need to bridge this gap and make sure that our families can get along with one another. For the sake of our marriage, for the sake of our child, I am asking you to please consider it. I really hope that that changes. I don't know how that's gonna go. I would love to know what you guys think about Mohamed and Ashley, and what are you guys' main concerns? Do we think that Ashley is actually going to convert into being a Muslim? Do we think that the brother is gonna continue to meddle into the relationship? Do we think that Mohamed is going to put the issues that he has with her family aside? I would love to know what you guys think about this. I will be reading your comments because I really want to know what you guys think. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Make you banana pancakes, pretend like it's the weekend.